Welcome, everybody. Greg Brasso, your host of Veterans Voice Radio, here as we're finishing up the month of May, heading into June. Where did it go, Justin?
May is gone.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
what
know?
happened? Yeah.
Nothing. The weekends had terrible weather, lots of rain.
Well, we got a lot of the memorial events in this weekend, which was great. So we bailed on that all the way to Monday late afternoon before we got rain.
Yeah.
Thank God we got in all the ceremonies and parades, and I was up on the battleship, Massachusetts, on Monday at noon, and great event. And when those 5-inch guns go off around 1 o'clock,
there's an unappreciated site in Massachusetts that we've got the real battleship Massachusetts, not a replica, not a whatever. The real.
And you got the Joe Kennedy next to it, and you've got the Lion Fish submarine World War II.
They've got a PT boat inside.
Yep.
Inside the house, right. Jared's over there. Oh, you've been there, done that. Yep.
And then the two helicopters. That's a new exhibit.
Yeah, I haven't seen the helicopters.
They're Vietnam helicopters. Actually, Chapter 207 VVA donated it back in the '90s, refurbished. So you have a Huey and an attack helicopter side by side in their own venue. And they're Vietnam helicopters in Vietnam.
Rumor has it, I don't know if the sergeant will be able to pull through, but at one of our shows, I'm sorry, Jared, I don't mean to speak. Nothing bad about the Navy, but sometimes the Army does some good stuff too.
We're sorry here.
They offered to send a Black Hawk helicopter to our event in July. So what's the Navy got to offer here? I mean, I don't want an aircraft carrier, a battleship, something of that size, perhaps, in Quincy Harbor.
Well, the Constitution's down the street. All you got to do is ask the...
Could you pull it? Can we say you said it was all right?
I'll see what I can do.
To float it down there?
Wollaston Beach.
Yeah, why not? Just land it. You know, tide will come in, it'll float up. Well, welcome everybody. Here we are. We're joking a little bit with tonight's guest. We're proud to have a U.S. Navy recruiter, Jared Kersell. Jared, thanks a lot for coming in tonight, brother.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you were at our big event last year, and that's how we got to know each other, I think, a little bit.
Absolutely, and I think it was a great event. Having recruited for almost 3 years now, and going to a lot of different types of events, on the whole entire spectrum. Yeah. The Veterans Music Fest was, I think, a great hit.
Yep, thanks. Why don't you tell a little bit about yourself for the audience? It's your first time in tonight, so let everybody know who we're talking to and what you're all about.
Definitely, thank you. I've done a lot of things, been a lot of places, but this is one of the coolest things I've ever done. So I appreciate it.
And he didn't even have to ship over.
No, we have to pay Wolfie for not showing up tonight. Thank you, but go right ahead, Jared.
32 years old, originally from McKeesport, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 minutes south of Pittsburgh. Let's go Pens.
Oh boy!
And sorry, everybody.
That's all right. The owner of the Red Sox owns the Pittsburgh Penguins now.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
Yep.
John Henry bought the Penguins this year.
There you go.
Traitor.
Joined the Navy at 18, and then shipped to boot camp December 15th, 2010. Got selected to be on the USS Constitution, my first assignment.
Wow.
That was your first assignment.
It was.
Talk about hitting the lottery.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
It was.
Unless
it was
on the river in Pittsburgh, then he really would have hit the lottery.
And you know what? Thanks to my family that took us on a vacation of New England when we were younger, and I probably would never heard of it if it wasn't for them, because they took us on whenever I was 13, 14 years old. So,
yeah.
Whenever the recruit division commander came into the compartment for us and asked who wants to try out for it, I raised my hand, of course. So then I got it, which was nice. Did 2 years there as a tour guide, and then went to Corpsman Apprenticeship School in San Antonio, Texas. That was about 3.5-4 months. And I went to Field Medical Training Battalion in Jacksonville, North Carolina at Camp Lejeune. That was 2 months. And then the Naval Health Clinic New England in Newport, Rhode Island. And then while I was there, got struck the lottery again, believe it or not, and went to the president's helicopters.
Oh, you know, if
thought I saw it.
if there's a step up from the
Oh,
U.S.
yeah.
the USS Constitution, I guess it's with a presidential helicopter.
guess so.
Yawn. You know, wow, spectacular, Jared.
Wow.
You must have impressed some people along the way.
I think so too. And it took a good, good evaluation, an interview process to go do that assignment as well. I did that for 3 years. They were based out of Quantico, Virginia, and I can't speak better of it, but they go everywhere the president goes. So I was lucky enough to hit Vietnam, Hawaii, San Diego, New York a few times, Florida a few times, Pennsylvania, Paris, and Scotland.
Beat sitting in the office all day,
Oh
huh?
my goodness, yes.
Wow, very nice, very nice.
And then shortly thereafter, that was 3 years, and I went to the USS Mount Whitney in Gaeta, Italy. Spent 2 years over there.
Got
And
these tough assignments.
What is that? What is-
Who does he
What's the
know?
Whitley?
the USS Mount Whitney is a communications ship or flagship or command and control ship, and its sister ship, the USS Blue Ridge, in Yokosuka, Japan. Their duty is to command and control sea, air, ground forces,
All kinds of
subsurface
secret
forces.
stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, all kinds of stuff that we can't talk about.
I wasn't involved in that stuff as a lowly hospital corpsman.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
The top. I mean, that's the tip of the spear. There's no doubt.
It really was, especially as far as command and control goes, since
Sure.
we had a lot of conflict in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, which is the Mount Whitney's AOR. So
Thank you for your service. Thank you for going and performing and doing a great job. And now here you are. You're representing the U.S. Navy.
yes, sir.
And how long have you been doing that?
This is I just passed 3 years on May 7th, I believe, and it's been quite a ride doing recruiting.
And has it all been in Quincy for the 3 years?
It has, yes.
Very nice. And how much longer have you got to go here? Or
Only another month.
oh no, then where you going?
To the 1st Marine Air Wing in Iwakuni, Japan.
Road trip.
You're more than welcome to visit.
No, thanks. Thanks a lot. Give us a call. Let us know how the weather is over there.
Definitely.
And so now you how long are you going to be over there?
2 years at the moment,
Wow, at the moment. Could be more
or less.
or could be less. Wherever they send you, huh?
Definitely.
Wow, that's
So this is going to be your career, obviously. You looks like, what do you got, 10 years in now?
It is. I have 13 and a half at the moment.
13 and a half.
My current contract's going to take me to 15 and a half, and then might as well do 4.5 after,
Sure.
if that math adds up.
wow, very nice.
So this tour you're assigned to a Marine division.
Correct.
Okay.
Great. Well, you certainly have seen the world, and as we talk to Justin now, the world that you're seeing is a lot different from the world that Justin was seeing
Yeah.
30 years ago.
30. Thank you very much. How about 50?
How many?
50.
Oh, you are old. but I don't think we're giving away any
No secret.
any U.S. trade secrets.
No.
But you mentioned, I mean, as we were growing up Periscope, for
Yeah,
God's sakes,
yeah.
was the movie, and Run Silent, Run Deep, and
Yeah.
they're all lifting up that thing and looking out the
Yeah.
thing to look out.
Hey, don't get
Hey, how's it?
don't
Yeah.
get too technical on this show
No,
with
no,
that
no,
thing
no.
and the thing and the thing. You know, we got you.
We're dumbing it down. We're dumbing it down, but
Oh no, it's just we
It's
were
not
talking
anymore.
off. We were talking off here. It's what we had in the 60s and 70s is like someone talking about the Model A Ford. I mean,
Sure.
Even I'm sure the helicopter that you were in, it was just I'm sure it had everything and anything you needed. It wasn't a Huey coming
I'm
off.
sure it was a
pad.
special Sikorsky.
I'm sure.
They are special helicopters, but believe it or not, Reagan flew in some of them.
Really?
To tell you how old they are.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They are
Wow.
They are old.
They're a workhorse, though.
Yes, they are a workhorse, and that's why the Marine Corps still uses them for President's Lift. I think the only ones other than the President's helicopters, which they are phasing them out if they haven't already. I think the only branch of service who still has their H3s. I think the only other branch that has them in service might be the U.S. Coast Guard
Wow. Wow.
for rescue
Yeah.
operations. Or
Yeah. All right.
But
Well, at this
a
point in
break.
time, Larry, why don't we take it away for our first break, and we'll be back. We'll be back to talk to U.S. Navy recruiter Jared Kersell, who's in all the way from Quincy. Came in for tonight's show, but thanks everybody. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome everybody. Greg Brasso back with our new friends here. Jared Kersell is from the U.S. Navy. We just talked a little bit about his rise to joining us tonight, and just when we're ready to make a big deal out of him, he's leaving us.
I know.
You're gonna have to pass us off to the new Jareds.
you're in good hands.
Yeah, you think so?
Absolutely,
All right, very good. They'll be at the event now.
they will.
Well, on July 13th, everybody.
What event? What event?
What event? Oh boy, have we got an event? July 13th, Pageant Field. Jared was there last year, and we're going to have our fifth annual Veterans Music Festival, VA Benefits Festival, Career Festival, Healthcare Festival, Housing Festival, Education
If
Festival.
it's out there, we got it.
The only thing we're not going to have a festival is for, unfortunately, suicide. But we're going to
No
have a great.
festival for that.
But we're going to have a lot of
Information.
information there, a lot of groups there.
Resources, absolutely.
You're going to be there. You travel for your birthday.
For my birthday.
For your,
Did I tell you?
Oh, I have to get a
no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your birthday.
13th is my birthday.
You're not getting any extra cake from us.
No. Well, we'll. Yeah, watch out, Wolfie. We'll promise you a piece of cake.
You get
But,
a piece of watermelon, maybe.
Yeah,
if you're
maybe,
lucky.
maybe.
That's all right.
But last year we had almost 1,500 veterans. We had 150 tables of VA benefit providers and program providers, and it's just a great event. And one of the unseen features, I think, of our event is, I'm going to relate this to Jared. Sorry, I just got to throw a shameless plug in here. What's your name? Jeannie. Jeannie was kind enough to forward to me.
Justin, Jeannie, Jenny.
Jenny. Oh, my. I'm Jason.
Dixie, Jason,
Sometimes
whatever.
I'm Jason.
Good thing there aren't 5 of us on the show. We'd really be in trouble.
No, we need everybody to be the same name.
Just
Hey,
Jay.
you.
Just Jay. Jace. The J team. The J team.
But what the Commonwealth of Mass has created a study studying veterans the suicide dilemma. They identified that about 11%, I think, of all suicides come, unfortunately, from the veterans world. And one of the things that they came to the conclusion that it can be used as an effective aid in the treatment of PTSD and TBI is peer-to-peer contact. And Jenny, I offered that there's not much more peer-to-peer contact than goes on with 1,500 veterans,
Exactly.
that are there for 4 or 5 hours with different hats on, all talking about their exploits, those exploits, and it's out of all the tables that we have there and all the benefit providers, I think the fact that we let vets talk just happenstance to other vets,
Right.
and they find out that they're not the only ones that have some sleepless nights, perhaps, and it doesn't make them feel like less of a man or a woman
Right.
to talk about having the problems, but you know about
Or
the
having
stigma.
thought, right? Having the thoughts that so many men, and I hate to say it, men mainly are the ones that keep it in. But when
Yeah.
they're together
Well,
and
we're
they talk,
stupid.
it's like the same thing with the coffee socials. You know, when they get them together, they're talking, and they're being open about it. And we have to talk about it. You have to be open about it.
Yeah, and we're resurrecting our website now. We have a great new web designer, and one of the things we want to do is update the coffee socials. So at some point in time within the next month, we're going to see if we can put out an all points bulletin to all the VSOs that are hosting coffees.
Well, I'll know on
you're
Monday.
going to be down there next week,
I'll
Justin.
be there Monday at the Massachusetts Veterans Training out in Eastham, out there on the Cape.
Eastham.
Eastham, I know. Just, I think might take my boat and go. But
do you
yeah,
know-
I know.
I found it. Do you know why they were in Eastham?
Why?
Because
Oh, Margaritaville,
Margaritaville, and they like raised the price like 2 or 3 times because
where they
they're
used to host that. Yeah.
they're such a draw. But Eastham, well, that's okay.
That's okay.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
We'll be out there, and same thing. We'll be networking all day. I'll be there for the Monday. They're there, I think, for 4 days. I'll be there Monday networking with all the veteran service officers about Vietnam Veterans of America, my
So
organization.
you can have a table there.
Yep. So my organization, and then tie that in with the Vietnam Wall in Fall River, which is the 4th replica in the country, and obviously, Veterans Voice Network will have its part there, as well as whatever we can provide to the VSOs for information.
Well, we try to bring up whatever's poignant, and what needs to be discussed. I think right now our shows have been pretty much pre-orchestrated. We haven't had any emergencies or any catastrophic occurrences that we've had to speak about. So, I think the next great event on July 13th is where we're going to ask everybody to come and join us. And I don't know, Wolfie, I'm getting prices on a dunk tank.
Oh,
But-
jeez.
Whoa.
I'm going to wear some Navy frogman suit. I just saw those rescue suits. We were on Sargarella's Janie's boat. She snuck us on that 270-foot cutter. My granddaughter is a general now in the
She's
Coast
a
Guard.
general,
She's
yeah.
a general in the Coast
Quick
Guard.
rise.
So it was under repair, so she snuck us on. And those jumpsuits are serious stuff. That's all serious.
Yeah.
I said, this isn't for us. This isn't a rowboat. But I'm just talking about the veteran voice, how just the camaraderie and bringing everyone together. The coffees are unbelievable. We got started doing, through Veteran Voice, get started doing the barbecue at the Brockton VA Hospital. We did that Memorial Day. So we bring vets to talk to the other vets, and half the time they're not even eating, they're just talking to each other. Everybody's grumpy when they start, and everybody feels so good when they leave. And that just sitting down and talking to each other is great.
You know when we
really is.
really noticed that, Wolfie, was one of the first couple of years when we were involved with the Cape Flyer train program, when we'd have 400 veterans come on, and it was a closed audience, and they could run, but they couldn't hide from us. But but inevitably, an older vet would be sitting talking to a younger vet across the aisle, and little kids would come up and talk, and the fathers would say, "Oh yeah, he was a Vietnam vet," and
They're listening.
and the honor, and really it was a testimony, just like you said before the show. I think we started, Justin. It was like joining a family when you join the armed forces, and all the branches would be in the same.
I'm sure the recruiters really cover that. That it's it's a special. We were out at the Patriots Place last week or 2 weeks ago, and I talked to a lot of the young folks who've already signed up, and tried to explain to them that when you join the military, you join a special group. It's a family, and it's not just for 4 years as a fraternity. It's not 4 years of high school. It's a lifelong family, and whether you're from Marshfield, Massachusetts, after you go in the service, even if you get out and you're out in Oklahoma, in Dirt City there, or some little town.
You're going to Japan.
He's going to Japan, and somebody sees a veteran, you wearing a veteran hat. They're going to walk up and introduce themselves and ask about when you served. The next thing you know, you're at a table with his family or her family, and you're sharing food and sharing stories, and all of a sudden, that's your family. And it's hard to describe to folks what that feels like. You know, it's like when you're overseas and you see an American flag, you know, that's home.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know anyone overseas who's been overseas, they see that flag, that's home. And so, Jared, I'm sure you cover that with your recruits a little bit.
Absolutely, especially with the friends portion. As you said, you make friends for life, and one of the benefits to that is wherever you travel, wherever they travel, you get to visit, they get to visit, and if they have a couch to sleep on, it's yours. You know what I mean?
You've seen this already, Jared, in your years of military service as you travel around and bump into members of the other armed forces, maybe?
Absolutely. Whenever I came back from Italy, I had 30 days paid leave, paid vacation, aka leave, and recruiting schools in Pensacola, Florida, for us for 5 or 6 weeks, and then I had 30 days off after that. So I did a road trip up the East Coast. Stayed with a Marine friend, stayed with a Navy friend, stayed with another Navy friend, stayed with another Navy friend in all those states, coming up to Pittsburgh, where I'm
Nice.
from, and couldn't ask for better friends.
Yep, yep, very, very nice. And is that, I mean, that we talk about one of the soft skills that that various veterans come out with. I mean, joining the Navy, that's I mean, the soft skill part of that is the family effect of what you're signing up for.
Absolutely, and there's no other family like it, especially in the armed forces, and then a Navy family for me, and then the Navy family itself has families, and they're always involved in everything. So spouses, kids, pets, you name it.
The whole 9 yards.
Exactly.
The whole 9 yards. Well, Larry, at this point in time, why don't we take our second break, and we'll come back and ask Jared about a couple of the reasons why youngsters might think of taking Jared's advice and his example a little bit, and following his steps. I guess the Navy doesn't take steps. The Army takes steps. What does the Navy take? Rows or jumps?
Sail.
Nuts.
Not. I will come back with something that the Navy has, but we'll be back after these messages. Take us away, lad. We'll come back with some Navy stories. We'll be back. And welcome back, everybody. Greg Brasso, your host of Veterans Voice Radio, here with Jared Cursell as an E6 in the U.S. Navy. Situated in Quincy right now, but as Navy folks might want to do, just when you get used to your feet on dry land, they send you offshore again.
It's true.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure you'll represent the Navy and the country well over there. But Jared, we're talking about why the Navy? Why would someone thinking about what they're going to do for the rest of their lives? Is the Navy a possible solution that could then show them many parts of life that they maybe didn't know existed before the Navy came along into their life?
Absolutely, and that's the military in general. They're going to go through, obviously basic training, their job schooling, and that's going to take them to places that they wouldn't have imagined. But for the Navy, obviously I'm biased. You'll get the most travel out of the Navy because we have ships, and ships go places. So that's what they're good at. But as far as the skills go, we have every job you can think of. We have everything, we have cooks to nuclear physicists, basically.
And if someone would enlist in the Navy, are there choices? Can you pick and choose the direction of your dreams, so that maybe when you get through with the Navy, that there'd be transferable skills into their dream job or dream career that maybe they couldn't have even achieved without the Navy support?
Definitely, and that's most jobs, most rates, as we call them in the Navy, jobs. They'll do that for you. There are two programs, U.S. MAP, the Military Apprenticeship Program, and Navy Cool, credentialing opportunities online. They'll help you get civilian certificates to transfer. And on top of that, everything we do in the Navy is college accredited, including basic training, believe it or not. And at the moment, I sit on about... I'm not a fan of school,
Yeah.
so I haven't gone to college yet.
Yeah.
But shout out to Petty Officer Simmons. He's working on his degree right now.
Okay.
He works with me.
All right.
But everything we do is college accredited. I'm sitting on about 42 credits, and I haven't even touched college yet.
Wow.
And depending on what rate you choose,
Wow.
you get more, you get less.
That's a year's semester.
It's a lot.
A year's tuition.
It's a lot.
So not only will they, are those credits now transferable into so many college degrees, but you're going to assist that veteran to afford to live
Absolutely.
while they're going to school.
Definitely. While you're serving, like I said, Petty Officer Simmons is currently going to school at the moment. I think he's going to SNHU while he works in the office, believe it or not. We have tuition assistance for that, so you can go to school during your time, and then after your time, most people use what's called the Montgomery GI Bill.
Sure.
And some use the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Yeah.
And both of them pay for 100% of tuition.
Yeah.
And the Montgomery GI Bill, you pay into it. I paid $1,200 into it whenever I joined, and that also gives you a housing stipend for wherever you are located, and you go to school, if that makes sense.
And then when you get through at school, you make more money.
I hope so.
Yeah.
How does that work? Huh?
Yes. But and if someone were to ask your advice, what do you think are the most transferable skills or jobs within the Navy that you think that would be great career paths?
So I'm a hospital corpsman, so I'm in medicine, and believe it or not, I love my job, and it's a great experience. But I usually don't. If people want to go the college route or they want the transferable items, I
Yeah.
usually tell people to steer away from that, unless they want to become a doctor or a nurse or something else.
Oh,
in the
stay
medical
away
profession.
from the medic.
Believe it or not, yes.
Yeah.
And just to share with you, which we haven't spoke about, my undergraduate degree was sports medicine.
Oh, very cool.
So
yeah.
You would fall right into.
Exactly.
Oh,
And the only reason why I say, quote unquote, stay away from it is because in order to be a doctor, nurse, physical therapist, whatever, we still have to go back to school.
Sure.
And I know a lot of corpsmen who got out of the Navy, went to nursing school, and they're like, why am I here? Because I already know this stuff.
Yeah.
But whereas aviation, construction, I usually push people towards aviation. After
Why not?
Exactly.
Huge right now.
Why not? Yeah, and the careers available long term. Never mind the Department of Defense careers that we've talked to some of the big ones out there, the big defense contractors, and they would love to hire veterans that ran their submarines or flew their jets or steered their ships or did all of that, to contribute. And from an inside-out perspective, they're getting the cream of the crop, and you're training them while they're under your command.
Definitely, they're getting paid to get trained, and then they use those skills. Like I said, definitely in aviation. I fell in love with the aviation whenever I was flying in helicopters, and that's why I usually push people, quote unquote, push people
Yeah.
towards that field, just because helicopters and aircraft are awesome.
Obviously, in the Navy does a lot. The aircraft carriers, you've got probably 100 different career titles just on an aircraft carrier.
It's true. We have two different ones in my office. Aviation bosun's mate equipment and aviation bosun's mate handler. Petty Officer Sneed is an ABE for short, and then Petty Officer Simmons, the one going to college, he's an ABH, the handler. And then in the division, which is our grouping of recruiting offices, we have an AD, which is an aviation machinist mate. So he's working on engines, and then everything else, the air conditioning, the electronics, the electrical, everything.
Now, instead of college, can they transfer those to like an IT school? So a technical school, or would they need to because
Some technical schools will will accept more than others, but they don't want to give up the tuition, Justin.
right? No, I know.
That's the big
But
problem.
I know under the GI
of-
Bill,
of-
does that apply? Would a technical school apply?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, I wanted to make sure that
they'd
their
have
benefits
to
would be able to.
they'd have to apply for the correct accreditation, and then they have to meet a certain degree of percentage.
Well, competency, you'd have your certificates through your service, right?
Correct. Yes.
Like the HVAC people and your electronic people would all have their certification. So I guess, would they need to go to the IT school, or would they? pursue
Depends on
something different?
HVAC, maybe not.
The kids now, I've just been with because of my granddaughter, and she's, I don't know, the early 20s. So the kids are just starting to get some rank and some service, and the officers and the kids, just so everybody knows, they're living really nicely now. They're not digging foxholes and, in the trenches.
Well, she's a
and
coastie.
yeah.
You know,
Kinda tough
that's
to
You know
dig a
what?
foxhole on a
I was
Coast
wondering
Guard
why
kinda.
that shovel was making so much noise.
Yeah.
There was no dirt.
yeah.
And every one of them is planning to do something else with the post-education in the service or after the service. So that's a given. They're doing it. And they're going in their own direction. It's not limited anymore to one thing. There's no limits on it. They want the kids to go forward so they're better trained and they're smarter in the service. So the service is getting smarter. It's a nice life for everybody now. And then, of course, when you get out with the medical and more, it's not just going to college to study philosophy. All the kids have something else very specific that they want to do, and they're being guided nicely. It's a terrific situation now. It really is.
Well, and Justin and I had been talking, and I think he was talking to some politicians that were maybe recommending that every high school graduate put in a year of some sort of service. We're talking about some sort like a Peace Corps. Doesn't have to be carrying a rifle. It can be as a medic. It can be as a cook. It can be as in anything. Just to pay it forward a little bit and find out what life is like, and to have a little
It's
respect
to
for
put a
what
little
the
down,
country is
little,
about.
little down payment on your freedom. It's a little bit of a, you're not asking to go 4 years. You're not asking to, go overseas. Just do something in your community on a regular basis for a set period of time, so that you contribute to the freedoms that you have.
And that amount
the
of-
old saying is freedom isn't free. And when people get something free, I don't care what it is in life, there's no value to it. Somebody gives you, quote, a free baseball bat, and you leave it at the park, and somebody says, hey, where's your bat? It's all right, I'll get another one. When it's
Right.
free, it has no value. When you have to do something to earn that freedom, you're going to appreciate it a lot more.
And I think as we just passed Memorial Day, Justin,
God.
you know that at your wall there's 58,000 plus names down
Yep.
there of those that gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, we always say they gave up their tomorrows so we could be here today. I mean, and that's pretty much sums it up pretty quickly.
And not to mention those that were fortunate enough to come back are now afflicted with God knows
Right.
what, from the Agent Orange and the blue and the pink and the sky blue,
Right.
all the different colors. You showed us that chart of different Agent Orange colors.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Right. As one veteran said, I went to war and, I may be killed in war, but I didn't want my government to poison me. And, that's kind of a general statement, but, how true it rings 50 years later.
How about the Air Force mechanics in Texas
Yeah, well,
that,
yeah,
that were,
Cleaning the planes.
working on the planes, cleaning the planes,
Yep.
getting that orange stuff all over them, not understanding
what it,
Wow.
yeah.
what it meant later on down the road.
And again, why we as our generation of veterans, we wanted to make sure that Jared's generation didn't have to wait 20 and 30 years to file bills so that they could get, if they were exposed to burn pits or any kind of toxins, they don't have to wait. That bill covered for our generation and the generation coming behind us.
Jared, how has your experience been within the Navy about toxins and dangerous environments? What just roughly what's the Navy's position on all that. Did they take care of you pretty much?
Absolutely. We have what's called 3M, maintenance material, and I don't remember the other M. I apologize. And 3M tells us how to maintain our equipment. And, you know, for our medical equipment, we really didn't have much to work on. And one of the devices we had to work on was a bag valve mask to do, you know, CPR on somebody without touching them, as far as mouth to mouth goes. And one of the things we had to clean the bag valve mask was regular soap. And we had to get certain permissions to have that bottle of soap in our gear locker, to tell you like the steps that we have to take to do that.
Sure.
And that was that was really, it was considered hazmat, believe it
Yeah.
or not, just dish soap. And anything more than that stays in a hazmat locker, and you have to check out. You know, there's procedures to check that stuff out. And
Doesn't
use
sound like yesterday's Navy, huh?
Absolutely not. Where you see, you know, the World War II, the Vietnam era, you see guys without shirts on the flight deck, without any hearing protection.
Yeah.
That absolutely doesn't fly nowadays.
No. Well, that's
And that follows up with, you know, with everything we were talking about, the bill, the GI Bill is education. I mean, everything is, it's done a 180, and, you know, we as older veterans, I think, realize the impact that these younger veterans now are able to do their job without worrying about exposure, unnecessary exposure.
Sure.
There's always going to be exposure,
Yeah.
but unnecessary exposure, and at least the precautions that are being taken place. So that when they get to our age, they are not hopefully dealing with Parkinson's and some of these other.
I think that the government has changed for
Right,
the better.
Right. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'll
No.
tell you, it's a hell of a lot better than what
And
it
it
was.
takes a long time to turn a battleship around,
Right.
It's true.
so to speak.
Or a freight train to stop.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. But at this point, we'll need to stop this train and let Larry mention our sponsors. And we'll be back after these messages for the Chapter 4 of tonight's Veterans Voice Show. Take it away, Larry. We'll be back after these messages. Well, welcome back, everybody. Greg Brasso, your host of Veterans Voice Radio. Tonight, we're closing up a great show with Jared Cursell, who was with the United States Navy. And Jared, now you've painted this picture of wonderfulness that the Navy has shown you the world and a career and a nice living. Should there be somebody that would want to follow in your footsteps, how would they contact yourself to learn more about the process of becoming a seaman?
My number, just right off the bat, is 617-823-3891. 617-823-3891, and we're at 31 Hancock Court in Quincy, right in the Party City building. And if you have Instagram, at Beantown Recruiter.
That's where It's a Party is, in that building.
Correct.
You're right beside the old unemployment office.
Yes, I believe so.
For all you old people, the old.
Oh.
No, that was a different part of Quincy, the
And,
bargain center.
Oh, right downtown, that big building was by. No.
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 Bargain center used to be where the medical building is.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
he's thinking of the old Goodwill used to be there.
And if
In
you,
that building.
so
Sorry.
if someone's not in the Quincy area, recruiting Navy and on all forces, recruitings are within usually most large cities and towns.
Definitely. And you think that they would be in big cities and towns, which they are,
Yeah.
but they're all over the place. We have 3 just in charge of Boston alone.
Really?
3 recruiting centers. One in Waltham, Danvers, us.
And then
in
you
Quincy.
can always go to Navy.org to
Navy-
find a recruiter. or-
Exactly, Navy.com, and it's probably
.com, sorry,
on
not
top.
.org, huh?
Not .org.
So now the kids, the high school kids, are just getting ready to graduate, trying to make some of the plans, and college is wonderful, but if you're gonna take up 4 years of your life, and maybe your parents gotta lay down like $50,000 a year,
Cheap.
cheap.
That's true.
And if your parents can't afford it, maybe you have to, acquire some loans. And just the opposite with the experience of the Navy. Not only do you get the hands-on experience that might be worth more than a college education.
Definitely.
But you don't have a loan to pay back of $150,000, God forbid, or even more. And I don't know. Gino and I have talked a lot, and one of the things that we regret is that our draft numbers were a little bit askew, and we didn't get the chance to serve, and it was all Vietnam era time. Oh boy, it was really, it was a rough time. But I see that the whole pendulum now has swung back into the other dimension, and really it's some huge benefits by putting up with what you have to put up with for a few years in the military.
Definitely, yeah. The most benefits, I think. And going back to the point, high school kids are gonna, take out loans and whatnot. A lot of them that I talked to in the past 3 years, they don't know what they want to go to college for, and it's just my opinion, but I think it's a huge waste of time.
Sure is.
Because if they change their mind while they're in college, they're just gonna pay more money and go longer.
Or if they're 17,
Yeah.
and what do they know? They
Right.
know to the end of the street, I got to come home when the street lights are on.
Right.
What do you mean, Justin? I'm gonna control the nuclear
Yeah,
cell.
no,
I'm gonna make it go up and down. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, sometimes you're foolish when you're young, and
And you
you know,
sign up for to do foolish
yeah,
things.
and then do foolish things on top. But one of the stories I do share is, when I left and I came home 4 years later, my friends were still hanging on the same place, and I asked them where they'd been, and we went to the Cape, or we went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm saying to myself, I've been around the world twice.
Yeah.
And it went by so quick, and when you hear 4 years, that's a long commitment. It flies, and
really
what you
isn't.
get from that. Again, I got a lifetime of being in a family. I've got veterans benefits. I've gotten the
GI Bill,
education.
you-
Ours was a lot different today, but
Yeah.
they paid for my undergraduate degree, and when
The
I
home loan, the GI home loan program.
VA home loan.
Yeah, and when I went for a job interview, even though it was right after Vietnam, there was always that box, check if you're a veteran. And later in life, I became in a position where I could hire folks, and I would look for that veteran status, and I would put that on the top of my pile. It's just something that we do as veterans, whether they were Coasties, Marines,
Yeah.
Army, Navy, didn't matter. If it said veteran, I was putting them on the top.
Well, one of the highlights we haven't talked enough about is we're going to have the SBA joining us at this event, and one of their ventures, Ray Milano was the director of veterans support within the VA, and what we're going to do is we're going to highlight veteran business owners
There you go.
by offering them free tables and chairs at our booth. And for all of you veterans out there that are looking for a job, nothing like going to work for a vet.
And
not
Boston
to-
Scientific, we talked about almost
and-
half
and-
his staff.
Really? Wow.
Sure. I mean, and he was an artillery commander
Yeah.
in the service.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Cool.
mean, they recruit heavily.
And so many, we've had Comcast on talking about they don't care what your qualifications are. You did what you did. We want you. We'll find a spot for you. And if there's not a spot, we'll make a spot.
Right. Yeah.
And so Jared, you've got a nice future. You've got a few more years in the Navy.
I do.
And then what's going to happen after 20 years? That's your target for now.
It is. And just over the past 13 years that I've been in, I've changed my mind, a bunch. That's another reason why I think people should join, is because at a young age you don't know what you want to do,
Yeah.
or you think you know what you want to do, and then you change your mind later. Just get a job in the Navy, in the military in general, and then you can figure out why you're getting paid for it.
And really, the Navy is one of the most respectable. They're all respectable, but I think the Navy has a great history of technology and excellence in the time when the country is needed, and so much more is done with technology, and guided missiles and global positioning systems and all of those things. So if you're bright enough to do that, you're bright enough to do almost anything once you get out.
And Greg, they need kids to take the courses in the Navy, so they're getting promoted, all the branches, I'm sorry. They need the kids to get promoted to fill the slots as the senior guys are retiring, so you're going up the ladder much faster.
Sure.
You gotta, yeah, you can't hear 'em.
Sure. Well, and it's not. No offense to the Army or Marines, but it's not ground warfare except for Ukraine, I guess. But it's airfare. It's air warfare now. It's missiles. It's
It really is,
missile
yes.
defense. It's
technology.
It's technology,
yeah.
And no matter where you, in any branch, I mean, but we're favoring Navy because we're in the House. But I just think there are so many more opportunities when you look at what each branch will offer. But again, if maybe somebody wants to go in the Coast Guard, that's been there. And legacy, if my dad served in the Marines, I want to go in the Marines. That's kind of has been a history of whoever served
I
in the
think,
Army,
yes,
they would go in the Army.
Lots
so.
of family members would
Yep,
want to
yep.
serve, as their parents.
Absolutely.
Did.
Well, the same as a college. If Dad went
Yeah.
to Penn State, I'm going to Penn State.
Yeah,
So.
yeah,
But listen, I want to officially thank him for his service.
yeah.
No,
And,
thank you.
wish
Thank you
him
for having
well.
me. Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming in, Jared. Once again, how would they contact you?
My number is 617-823-3891. Instagram at Beantown Recruiter. And 617-823-3891.
Beautiful. Jared, if there's anything we can do while you're overseas, we stream our show every week, so you'll be able to tune in from overseas. So don't miss us too much.
I'll see if Armed Forces Network AFN can
there
throw
we
you
go.
on.
Oh, boy, we'd owe you a nice favor. We'd owe you a favor. Jenny, my dear, thank you so much. We haven't got much time.
I know.
You've got a training session going on this week?
I do next Thursday, June 6th, at the Hingham Library. It's open to the public. We have Talk Saves Lives, which is a suicide prevention course, and we welcome anyone to come.
When is that? What time?
Thursday, 6 to 7:30 on Levitt Street in
Do you know
Hingham.
that the Veterans Voice runs from 7 to 8?
I know, but the town picked it. I really can't,
We won't hold
And
you
I will
to
She's
say
not in
it is.
Cleveland.
I'm not in Cleveland. I'm in Hingham. It's the end of May.
We-
Remember to call 988 if you are struggling.
Thank you.
We have 300 new QPR instructors. Trainers in the Taunton city of Taunton now.
Wow.
We did 11 trainings for Taunton.
Wow, I know you did a great training program there. Justin, thank you very much. Gino, thanks for all your support, brother, keeping us up there. Wolfie, thanks for fighting the fires, and you already getting the food for the food drive. So in 2 weeks, everybody will be here on. I think it's around June, July. June.
Oh, we're going up there.
Oh yeah, June 6th.